I was inspired to write this book as we were approaching the 30-year history of the U.S. Department of Education, and I wondered, are we better off because of it? Frankly, I don't think we are. And based on the increasing calls for the department's abolition this presidential election cycle, I think it's fair to say a lot of us think it's time to pull the plug on the Department of Education. But what does that really mean? If the department's history teaches us anything, it's that government bureaucracies are not like fine wines. They don't get better with age. History also teaches us that bureaucracies are resilient. The U.S. Department of Education was downgraded, defunded, and reshuffled from one federal agency for another throughout much of the 19th and 20th centuries. Rather than abolishing it in the 1980s, we decided to keep it around and try and use it to promote an excellence agenda. The result today? Common Core. This isn't what we were promised at all back in 1979. We'll recall a U.S. Department of Education was supposed to do essentially three things. 1, improve student achievement. 2, supplement, not supplant, state and local governments. And 3, improve management and efficiency of federal education programs. So how'd those promises turn out? Let's turn to number 1, improve student achievement. Achievement across subjects and grade levels on the nation's report card, as well as various international tests, have been essentially flat during the periods preceding the U.S. Department of Education and up till today. As far as I can tell from the empirical track record, we're spending above average amounts for squarely average student achievement, and we're spending up to 1/3 more than top performing countries in the world. A U.S. Department of Education was also supposed to supplement, not supplant, state and local governments. Our founding fathers never intended for the federal government to be a quote-unquote partner with the states in education, much less the boss. In fact, the word education doesn't even appear in our Constitution. By going along with this partnership, it has been a bad deal for students, schools, and taxpayers. During the No Child Left Behind era, for example, from 2002 to 2009, the Department of Education's paperwork burden increased by an estimated 65% and was larger than the burden imposed by the Departments of Defense, Energy, and Justice, to name a few. In fact, the administrative burden is now so great, most employees at state education departments are hired just to deal with federal education programs. Today, in the Common Core era, spending is estimated to be $80 billion, according to a former U.S. Department of Education official. That's nearly 20 times the entire $4.4 billion Race to the Top program that was supposed to incentivize state reforms.